if you don't address the root cause of the problem, it's going to come back. And it usually comes back as a bigger, more severe problem. So one of the things that we are very deficient in is light.
Yeah.
So here's the fun fact. We, as omnivores, get our vitamin D from the sun and from our diet. So here we are at this conference where we're talking about freedom.
Yeah.
But if you don't have your health, your
Yeah.
freedom almost doesn't matter.
Right. Dr.
Hi.
Marlene, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We were talking yesterday about being healthy, but also not just ourselves being healthy. Tell us what you do.
So I'm a veterinarian. I do integrative medicine. I actually practice what is called bioregulatory medicine, which means that I identify the root cause of the problem and then I fix the root cause of the problem. Where in most of our traditional medicine, it's about symptom suppression. So we have a symptom and then we get a medication or a treatment to get rid of the symptom. But if you don't address the root cause of the problem, it's going to come back. And it usually comes back as a bigger, more severe problem. Be like unplugging the dash light on your car when the light comes on and going, oh, look, the light's off. The problem is gone. So we really have to understand that our bodies are machines. And when we disrupt the machine, you're going to get a symptom.
Yep.
So now you have to figure out what are you doing that's actually creating that. And we live in a world of fast, cheap, and convenient. We've been sold this bill of goods now for a very, very long time, and we are paying the price of decrease in longevity for ourselves and for our fur babies.
Yeah, and I think people are excited about RFK and Maha making America healthy again, and he's been on a seed oils, kind of bend and talking about exercise and all of these things that I think have been neglected and ignored for years, and it's extremely exciting. But you're taking that to pets now.
I've been doing that for 40 years.
Yeah, so yeah, not now, but yeah.
So I've been doing Make Your Pets Healthier for a very long time. And here's one thing, he's talking about lifestyle changes. Well, one of the things that we are very deficient in is light.
Yeah.
Our bodies and our pets' bodies were designed to literally function with light energy. That means the pathway that actually makes ATP, that makes energy, the mitochondria need light in order to function.
Yes.
But we aren't seeing light. We're under artificial light all day long in our houses, in our workplaces, and then we go in our car, and then we go into another building. And so we're really not outside in the sun the way our bodies were physiologically designed to be.
Right, and there's vitamin D deficiencies, right? People have all sorts of stuff that would be solved if they just got outside a little bit more.
Yeah, so here's the fun fact. We, as omnivores, get our vitamin D from the sun and from our diet. An herbivore, your cow, deer, etc., they only get vitamin D from the sun.
Okay.
And carnivores, which are the dogs and cats, only get it from their meat.
Okay.
So even if your dog is outside, they can be vitamin D deficient if what they're eating wasn't out in the sun.
Right.
So think about that. Most of the meat that is used in animal processing are the diseased animals. They've been on feedlots. They're full of antibiotics, hormones, chemicals, pesticides, genetically modified ingredients. And that's what's going into all this processed dog food. So if that animal that your pet is eating has not been outside, then they're going to be vitamin D deficient. And the way this industry misleads us is they say, oh, this is grass-fed. But grass-fed means that animal can be in the pasture for one day out of its entire life.
Got it.
So you have to go grass-fed, grass-finished.
That is, that's a sneaky little thing.
It is, yeah. And most people are getting where they understand grass-fed is important, but they haven't caught on to the grass-finished part, which means they were outside in the environment eating a grass diet their whole life.
Yeah, and I have a sneaking suspicion that our food is not filled with all the good things that they say it is, and you see all the labels in there, and they get very sneaky with the labels. Like, you start going down the seed oils rabbit hole, as I have, and you try to find food without seed oils, and then you see, well, all right, this one's got canola oil, and then this one has like a cold pressed, other type of seed oil, and this one's like a organic cold pressed seed oil, and you're like, well, is that better than the other seed oils, or what's going on here? And meanwhile, a lot of people aren't paying attention to those labels at all, and so we have poison in our food, and that's human food. Okay, so what are they selling to the animals, and then trying to just market that like it's real?
Yeah, it's even worse on the animal industry side because, number one, the food is being rendered at such high temperatures, it destroys the enzymes. Enzymes are the proteins that we use to actually break our food down.
Right.
dogs and cats don't have amylase, the digestive enzyme that digests carbohydrates. They were never designed to eat carbohydrates. Think about that.
And is that what the food is? Like, what is like that dry food? What is
That
that?
dry food is 40 to 60% carbohydrate. It used to be made of corn, and then about 15 years ago, people were going, oh, dogs don't eat corn. It can't be that. So they went to grain-free diets, which are even worse, and then they used potato starch or tapioca, but it's still carbohydrate.
Yeah, it's still just like filler, really.
Yeah. So dogs are scavenger carnivores. They were designed to go out and they'll eat some of man's waste. That's why we call them scavenger carnivores, because they've adapted to eating off of some of our refuse.
Okay.
But of course, as we've gotten more sophisticated, our refuse is worse and worse.
Right.
But cats are obligate carnivores. They have zero tolerability. They have zero requirement for carbohydrates. So here we are feeding them 40 to 60% sugar.
Yeah.
How are we not expecting them to have problems?
Yeah. I had an old cat, Ash, rest in peace. She was very heavy, and I should have known better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the cancer rates in dogs are 1 out of 1.65. That's almost 100% of dogs.
Wow.
Cats are 1 out of 3, as high as it is for women. And then when you add in obesity, autoimmune disease, vomiting, diarrhea, skin diseases, osteoarthritis, literally 100% of the animals that we're dealing with will come down with some form of chronic illness if they are continuing that kind of a lifestyle.
And you think that could be changed with a better food supply?
It's changed not only with food, but the right food, the right water, getting the chemicals out, finding out what the deficiencies are. We literally test for deficiencies of essential nutrients.
Yeah.
Then testing for toxicities and getting that out of the body and out of the environment, and then mitochondrial dysfunction. So you guys can be doctors now. 3 things that cause disease: deficiency of essential nutrients. Those are the ones the body cannot make in sufficient quantity on its own, but it has to have them. Toxicity, overwhelming the 6 organs of elimination. Number 3 is mitochondrial dysfunction. That means the organisms in our bodies that make energy and also are responsible for the communication between the mitochondria and the microbiome. They make that communication. So they're turning on and turning off functional genes based on what they're sensing from our input, our eyes, our ears, our smell, we know what we're perceiving. So those are the 3 pillars for our health. Number 4 is actually trapped emotions. So animals play a really big role in how we emotionally are showing up in the world. And it's interesting because there's never an accident or a coincidence to have a particular pet in your life at a particular time in your life with their particular challenge, right? There's meaningfulness there, and it's just a matter of slowing down long enough to go, what are they showing me? What are they teaching me? What's the blessing in this experience? Because it's not all about disaster.
Yeah, and there's studies, right, that people with pets live longer and have more fulfilled lives and things like that. And if you're keeping your animal, your pet, your best friend alive and well and happy and healthy, right? It's a just like any other relationship that you care for, right? You'll get a benefit from that.
Yeah. So here we are at this conference where we're talking about freedom.
Yeah.
But if you don't have your health, your freedom almost doesn't matter.
Right.
So I'm very excited to see the blending of these 2 worlds, because of course I've been in the health world for 40 years. This is my first political conference, although I did speak at the Red Pill twice.
Oh, good.
I spoke at the Red Pill in 2018 and this year, 2024.
Yes.
So I guess I do have a little bit of political exposure, but nothing like what we're here experiencing now with all these people. There's more people at this conference than I have ever seen at a health conference.
It's wild. And I can say the same thing about attorneys conferences. I've been to some huge attorneys conferences, national conferences in Vegas and all over the place. This is crazy. This is amazing. It's so nice to be in a room with people who share values. We're interested in our health. We're interested in our relationships with our animals. And it feels like we're at home.
Yeah. Well, we definitely have found our tribe. And if you're watching this, then you are part of our tribe. I just met you for the first time, and I already feel like we've known each other many lifetimes.
Totally. I feel the same. And I love what you're doing. And I'm glad that you're here speaking about this stuff, because it's a little different, right? It's a little different. There's not a lot of pet advocates here who want our pets to be healthy. And so we're really glad that we got a chance to speak. Where can people connect with you? What can you provide to them if they got maybe a sick animal or somebody they want to talk to you about?
Yeah, I have online courses. Well, the place to connect is through drmarlenesiegel.com. Just have to spell my name right. Do you have show notes or anything?
We can actually, they'll probably link it in the chat.
Okay, there you go. So drmarlenesiegel.com is the hub of everything me. I have educational programs for pet parents so that they can learn what can can they be empowered to do? It's
Yeah.
the Empowered Pet Parent course, go figure. So it's learning, and that's so important. When people ask me, where do I start with education, because otherwise you're going to be subjected to any other shiny object that shows up, and you don't know how to respond to that.
Right.
Because it sounds good. I mean,
Right.
look what our government has shown us and sold us on, right? So we're very susceptible to being persuaded.
Yes.
But once you know, you can't unsee, you can't unhear, you can't unthink. Truth is truth. And
Yep.
once you understand it, then you don't get sucked into this false narrative. So start with education. I do have the Empowered Pet Parent course, which is amazing. It's very inexpensive, and you can get consultations with me. I teach worldwide. I teach veterinarians. So if you're a pet owner and you go, wow, I want to learn this, and I want my doctor, who I love, we all love our veterinarian, to practice that kind of stuff, well, then get them to take the veterinary training. It's Transforming Vet Medicine.
Yeah.
How profound. I actually named both those courses years before I actually created them. That was a download. And that was
great. It
It
was
was
great. It was
really
amazing.
great. I go, okay, well, there's the field. Now you have to build it, right?
Yep.
So that was pretty cool. And the last thing I want to say is that people will do things for their pets before they will do it for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think this is part of God, the universe, way of capturing people that would otherwise not become conscious and awake.
Yeah.
Because every pet parent that I work with, after they see their pet's health transform by these little tweaks that we do, they go, where do I go to get that for me? Or they ask me, can you treat me? And of course, I don't treat people, but I say, yeah, these are things that we should be doing for ourselves. And ultimately, when we make those better choices, when we spend our dollars more wisely, we actually help Mother Earth, because we become less of a pollutant and less of a toxic burden on Mother Earth.
Yes.
Right? Because we'll be surprised if we kill our planet, we don't even have a thing to argue about.
Right.
We won't have a planet to live on.
Pretty important. Doctor, thank you so much. And so your website?
drmarlenesiegel.com.
drmarlenesiegel.com. And we're excited for you to make and help make your animals healthy again. So my friends, check it out.